Welcome into this edition of the Ball Out Podcast. Your host Jordan here with my co-host Swanny and Billy. How you fellas doing, man? It's been a while. It's
been a long time, man. I'm just ready to get back into it, man.
Yeah, man. It's Swanny.
It's hot. It's hotter than a $2 pistol outside.
It's hotter than two rats screwing in a wool sock outside. That's what it is, buddy. It's behind the dryer too. It's hot. It's hot.
So the last time we got together was, I guess, when Nico left, right?
Yeah. That was the last time we've been to since that was when we were together last. Yeah, it's like
Isn't that long?
Yeah, man. Yeah. We about to. It's all right though. People about to see a lot more of us. So, boys, I think this episode tonight, I think we're just gonna break down the schedule and give some picks and some opinions. Talk about the Adidas Nike deal that's out there floating around. Got a couple things I want to bring up too with as we get into the schedule here. With things Hype could do and whatnot this year that he needs to do. At least 2 out of the 3 of. We'll talk about who we got coming back, who we lost. Of course, we don't know who, one of them. But we'll get into it. All right, fellas. Let's get down to it here. This is who we got coming back. People of note. Boo Carter, Boo be back this year. Mike Matthews. We've got George McIntyre, Jake Merklinger, Joey Aguilar. Those are the 3 big ones that we're going to be talking about quite a bit of. Did shore up that offensive line a little bit with Wendell Moe and Sam Pendleton, and then David Sanders. Those are 3, I think, very important ones that we got coming in or coming back or out of the portal. I think those 3 are very important. Then, of course, we know who we lost, Nico. And I'm just going to tell you guys, man, now I go out of my way when I go to Chick-fil-A to not order Polynesian sauce. Like, I just can't.
That's addition by subtraction.
It is.
Chick-fil-A sauce is far superior anyway. I don't know why you were getting Polynesian sauce to begin with.
Hey, yeah, Billy, what do you think about what's your debate on? What's your input on that one?
Man, it is what it is. I mean, we got to move on, and that's all I can say about it. But
I mean, Billy's right there. It's so far behind.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot I can say about it, but it won't matter, man. It's just like, being a former player, we know what we got back there. So, it's time to just he's not even part of us anymore. So it's like,
exactly, let it go. You still see it all over Facebook. People still talking about it. And I get it's a slow time of the year, but I don't want to talk about it. As far as losses and departure go, that's number 1. James Pierce Jr., though we're gonna have to replace him. That's a big one. Lost him to the draft, first round. Dylan Sampson, Deontay Thornton, both to the draft. Aiden Bustle, I didn't even know who he was. Christian Charles, John Slaughter, Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson went. All those guys, those last 3 or 4 there hit the portal. So we lost a lot of production with Dylan Sampson, but I think we'll be able to replace it. It's going to be running back by committee, but I think we can do it.
Well, I mean, I know we can do it, man. I mean, that's the part of having backups, man. You got to reload or however you want to rebuild or whatever you want to call it. I think we'll be okay, man. I think we'll be back in the same situation we were last year in a sense of win column. I don't think we'll get to the playoffs. I think the experience at quarterback is gonna be a little bit controversial at the beginning, but I think once they get the system and understand everything, that's when I think we'll get over the hump. If we can get past those first 4 ball games, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well let's get down to it here. Here's the schedule. We're gonna come out first game of the year. Syracuse, neutral site game. This game would scare me if it wasn't for the fact that they lost McCord this year. They're not as good this year, or not projected to be as good. But, I mean, it's still a tough one considering, we're coming in with, don't know who we've got at quarterback. We don't know if it's going to be Aguilar, Merklinger, or George McIntyre. I think it's going to be Aguilar, the way everybody's talking. But part of me is also like, what if it's Merk?
After everything I heard 2 years ago for why Nico was sitting, then there's no reason for McIntyre to be playing.
That's true. I mean, we'll see. I hope that when Hype says it is a competition, it's a competition. It's not coach speak, because I think myself, if you're Jake Merklinger, you've got a leg up on these guys. Surely you can beat them because you know the offense already. But
yeah, ED Pickle from On 3 had some good things to say. I took him as good things to say about Joey Aguilar. That he's gonna go out there and sling it Like he's not gun shy, I think was the term he used, which will be very refreshing. I'd rather throw interceptions than run out of bounds with the clock expiring against Arkansas. You know what I mean?
True.
Well, of course, guys. I mean, it's still Syracuse, man. They got to come to the big house. They got to come to Neyland Stadium, and
I believe that game's Atlanta,
Syracuse.
right?
I mean,
Yeah, that game's not a neutral site game, Billy. It's in Atlanta, buddy.
just I'm just an ex-player that just still say we got home field advantage.
You do.
And
yeah, that's true.
Because I'm trying to remember, when's the last time has Syracuse ever been here before? I mean, how long has it been since they've been?
I can look and tell you, actually.
Because,
the last time Tennessee and Syracuse have played 3 times. First time in 1966. The last time was 2001 in Neyland Stadium, and it was 33-9 Vols.
Okay, well, and of course, that means, a lot of these kids haven't played in this stadium. So, this is the first game of the season. So the crowd is going to be electric. So we have player number 12 in effect big time. The only problem is, potential blowouts and the crowd leaves, and that's when things changes. And, if we can keep our crowd in the stadium, it's hard to beat us at home. It's hard.
That's true.
Well, if you make that trip down Atlanta, surely you're not leaving early. What are you trying to get to down? Are you trying to beat the traffic back to Knoxville? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Basically, I guess my thing there would just be, if you're going to pay these outrageous ticket prices that we have now, stay at the game.
Don't forget about the talent fee. Let's see here. I want to see. I think they've got them up already. Actually, I think the early line on that game is like 9.5, maybe, or it's. I think it's 12.5.
12.5.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's gonna be a blowout. I don't even want to call the score. I mean, I can see. We will win by 3 touchdowns.
I could see it. Absolutely, I could see that. Especially if the defense comes out ready to play and we can actually cut the offense loose for a change. Because that's one thing I want to see out of everybody, out of the whole offense this year, is I want that 2022 pace back. I don't care about the pace. I don't care about the numbers from 2022. It's going to be a while before we see stuff like that again, I think, period. But I want that pace back, because that pace being there is what allowed us to put those numbers up.
Well, the only way that pace gets back is if our receivers are able to get over.
True that.
And that pace is an easy situation, but the only reason for the pace was the fact that we couldn't block anybody. That's what the hurry up offense is for. Is to confuse the defense to make them make mistakes. And that's what, a lot of defenses did back then, because our receivers, I mean, they breaking legs, they making you miss, they getting over the top. So that's the part of the whole offense with Tennessee, with our receivers, like you said. If we can fix that part, I don't think it'll be a problem. I mean, we'll be successful. I mean, that's the only position that I would say that has been way down the past 2 seasons.
I would agree with that. I would.
The positions that everybody thought was going to be bad, I think they exceeded everybody's expectation. A lot of people was talking about the DBs. I think the DBs did a whole lot better than I thought they would do.
They looked a lot.
Well, to Ohio State.
Last year. Right.
Ohio State made everybody look slow.
Yeah, that's true. That was the position group last year that I think looked a lot better, and I think they'll keep pace this year, because we got McCoy back. Hopefully he's healed up out of that off that knee injury. We got that kid coming in from Colorado out of the portal this year that's supposed to be real good. I think that position group will be real solid on defense there. But yeah, I just found the spread for that game, and it is actually early 12.5. Vols are favored. So that's I could see us covering it, but at the same time, it's a noon game, so it's like it depends on how we come out of the gate,
What's the total on at least? What, like 60 maybe?
55.5. Over unders 55.5.
I mean, that's about right. I mean, first game, Hypo has to come out and show the world, show the fans that we don't need Nico to run this offense.
Yeah, that's fact. I'm down with that. I hope he does come out and want to sling it. Do it. Sling it all over the damn dome down there. Do it. So, all right, boys. So I think we're all on a consensus here that this first win will chalk it up, or this first game will chalk it up in the win column.
Yeah, well, you told me the spread. I'm sold. Because I didn't know. I was telling y'all before. I'm not brushed up at all on who's playing where. I don't know how good Syracuse is. I know they were good last year, but yeah, after hearing a 12-point spread, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was. I think that's about right too. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, I mean, here, I'll tell you this here. If Nico would be here, that spread would be 24.5.
I would agree with that. It would definitely be 20s for sure.
If he were still here?
Yes, that spread would have came out and been 24.5. Syracuse lost a lot, man. They lost a lot, man. And that team was really good last year, I thought. Because they gave a lot of people the business last year. I mean, even the games that they lost.
Now, is that a value? Is that those extra points there? Is that how much we value Nico, or Vegas would value Nico, or is it a lack of knowing what our quarterback situation is going to be?
It's the lack of Vegas making everybody put their money on Syracuse. It's a situation where, home field advantage. You got they call it the 3-point advantage. They give you 3 more points normally. Yes. With Nico not being there, that's a big difference of, he is in charge. He's new to offense. He understands everything. And the world is automatically assuming that the new quarterback is inexperienced. He doesn't know the offense, even the guys that are already there. But the kids, I mean, it won't be a change. I've said this just because I know how Hyper is. He is a guy of mechanics and perfectionists. They all have to be doing the exact same thing. Every quarterback that we have had since Hype has been here, they throw the ball exactly the same. Nothing different. The only difference is we had one guy that had a much stronger arm. That's it. The only problem is we got to get the receivers. Yes. So Nico, I think the value that they looking at it is the fact that we lost, a running back, we lost the quarterback, and we lost a couple offensive linemen. So they're not giving the offense as much credit other than the total right now.
Yeah,
I guess my hang up there is I would not be more confident in this season if Nico were still here. I'd be about the same. Honestly,
I'm the exact same way. But think about this here. Remember when the first time we saw Nico, so we automatically were like, oh man, he's the greatest thing ever. So just imagine if they hyped up any other quarterback that we had. It would be the exact same thing because these kids are 4-star, 5-star kids. They're just as good. It's just it's in the unknown column, right? So and the thing is, as a player and coaches, we love that you don't know what we have. When you don't think that we're gonna be as good, or we don't have this and we don't have that. That works to our advantage, and I love it. Because look, they got to go look at other school tape video to watch what the quarterback did. They can't put him in our offense and mimic what he does with this offense versus where he was at. So that's tough. That's not easy, man. When we got to play Florida, we got to play Alabama, but I got to sit here and watch Texas Tech film. Come on, it sucks.
That's true. That's very true. So, all right, boys, let's go on to the next game here. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this. ETSU at home. I don't think it's a matter of if, but how much.
Man, that one can be one of the games where our fans come out dead, where ETSU scores first.
Lord, if that happens, it's we're.
And then we go. Here we go again.
Think about how many of our fans though probably graduated from ETSU.
Facts. I
wonder if we'll see any of those split jerseys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if I've never even actually seen an old ETSU jersey. So.
A bunch of cars at the tailgate with a Tennessee decal on the window, and then an ETSU alumni bump.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna be there. So I'm gonna call a shot on that one. I'm gonna say we win by 50. Vols by 50.
Sure.
Well, here, this is the thing. I don't think we're going to see any of those type of games this year, man, on any stage, because the transfer portal has tricked the system, man. You don't know who has transferred to ETSU. These guys probably, was in trouble, and they transferred from Alabama. They transferred to Texas. They're ETSU. You just never know, man, because the transfer portal has created something that every coach in college hates it right now.
That's true. Okay, so I'll say 30.
I mean, you may be right though, man. I'm just saying that it's just we don't know. It's hard for me to put that many points up with the unknown right now. I will probably I'll say I was to just say a prediction of the score, I would say like 45-10 or something like that, and they just run the clock.
I mean, I could see that. I could
just
see it
not
being
to
like
run
that
it up
too.
on them and let them go home, without, embarrassing them, I guess.
I could see that too, because
Because
Lord
Hype
knows we
doesn't
embarrassed that team last
to
year.
really do that though. I've seen him just like keep it on their throats and stuff. He typically just start, running the clock out or just run some of the dumbest plays you ever see, and that's just how he is. I mean, I just don't see him do it. Now I would love to see him do that because that's what it's gonna take this year for the playoffs if you get a chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, it's style points matter. I don't know that. Who was it we played second game of the year last year? Was it like Kent State or Kennesaw State or something like that?
Second game was NC. We opened with Chattanooga, and then I think game 3 we played Kent.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Where I mean, we could have scored 150 points in that game. And
Yeah, we
I
had
think,
73, did we not?
yeah,
We
it had
kicked an
50 at
onside
halftime.
kick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
had
We're
50
feeling
at like
good then.
halftime.
We're feeling good.
We were. I felt pretty good most of the year last year, though. Honestly, I mean, that's not
Most of it, sure.
most of it, yeah. Till we went to Fayetteville. Anyway, all right, boys. So next game up, we'll have some talk on this one, but Georgia comes to Neyland Stadium. Spread on that one is 7.5.
Georgia,
And no,
right?
we're not favored.
I know that. Like,
What?
Right?
That's crazy. No, Georgia covers, in my opinion.
how do Lee Corso used to say it?
Not so
Not
fast,
so
my
fast,
friend.
my friend. Because the line tells me that Vegas is setting a trap.
If there was ever a year to get Georgia, I think this would be that year, because I'm sorry, Gunnar Stockton or whatever his name was last year did not look impressive. Of course, now he'll have time in the system now.
Well, neither did Stetson Bennett, but it's not about the quarterback down there.
No, that's true.
Or Carson Beck. Neither one of them good quarterbacks, in my opinion. Like, they're not NFL. They're not gonna light up the league, right?
Right.
Neither one of those guys, Stetson Bennett or Carson Beck, would be carrying dog shit rosters to more wins than they should have. Those guys are as good as the roster that's around them. And at Georgia, that's the best roster. Well, Ohio State might have something to say about that, but it's the best roster. It's a top 2 or 3 roster in the SEC now, because Texas is good. Texas and Georgia, I think we're looking at seeing them in the SEC championship again.
I would say you're not far off on that.
So it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter how good Gunnar Stockton is.
It's their
they're gonna have us beat everywhere else. I would imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't know who they have. That's the only Georgia player I can name is Gunnar Stockton.
They lost,
but I know.
I mean,
Kirby
they
Smart.
lose a lot every year, though. Yeah. And so far, Kirby.
I think
Kirby's
that's the most important name in Athens to know. That's the only one you need to know. They're going to win. They're going to win a lot of football games.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, what are we thinking here, boys? Win, loss? Where are we going?
Is that our third game of the season?
Third game of the season. We get them early enough to where most of their good players might be suspended.
That's true. The
old ball coach made a good point with that one.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go by the spread based on hearing the spread is only 7.5. And when I see a spread like that with a team as dominant as Georgia, then they are reloading. They're not rebuilding.
Right.
They can lose a kid right now and still be just as good. They're 3-4 deep, and this is including walk-ons that are just as good. Now, when I see a spread of 7.5, with a team that's probably going to, what are the preseason rank? 3, 4, 1, and somewhere 1, 2, 3.
They're up there.
And I say the Vols will win that game. I think the tide changed in a situation where, kind of like with the Alabama situation. We've been getting our butt kicked for so long. It's time to turn it over. Vegas is going to give us that game. Man. And I love it, love it, love it, because the spread is only 7.5. Now, if that spread would have said 12.5, or better, I would say we're getting blew out. But for them to just give us, a little bit of a touchdown, that tells me there's something fishy going on in that situation.
Well,
of course, the team-wise or player-wise, I mean, Georgia should beat us. They should beat us. But I think we will be competitive, being the fact that we're at home.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is it's a home game. I don't know. Go ahead, Swan. Make your point. Go ahead.
I mean, we're 2.5 months out. That line's going to move. It can move to double digits by September 13th, I think, is the date on that game.
Yeah, I don't know though. It's early in the year, and now Georgia, the last couple of years has kind of come out slow early in the year too. I don't know. I'm going bad as I hate to say it. I think we drop it. I think it'll be close, but it's just, to me, it's one of those deals you can't. I'm not gonna say we get it done until we actually do. Until I see us do it. You know what I mean? I mean, for years it was the same way with Florida, the same way with Alabama. Florida, we'd have better teams on paper and go down there and find a way to lose. And it's just, until I see it happen, I got to go. I'm going to say it's close, but I'm going to say we drop this one.
So we got win, loss.
Yeah. Man, I hate to pick against them, but I really do, man. That one tears me up.
That's the form of the game, man.
We
I
got
like
to
to win. That's just me. I don't like to lose.
All right, boys. And next up, UAB makes trip to Knoxville. I think we know how we're picking that one. UAB though,
Correct me if I'm wrong. They're good. They have a good football.
They're actually pretty good. They are a decent little football program now. They've got up and going down there, and they've scared the crap out of us a time or two. So I've been there. I've been at a game. I mean, last time we played them, Dooley was here and had to beat them in overtime. So I don't know. Let me look here. I
remember that. Matt Sims, Denarius Moore. That's all I remember. That last play.
Yeah, that was. Let me look here. I jotted it down here.
Didn't UAB, the football program, go down for a second?
They went down for a while. They had went down for a while.
I think it was only like 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it was only a couple years, and they were down for a while though, and then they had to build back up. I don't know what happened, but they were.
Man, of course it's a money situation. If the fans are not coming, they're losing money, especially with the sport that's supposed to generate the money.
Right, and I didn't realize this. Their head coach is Trent Dilfer. Yeah, which they're raising hell about him down there. He's on the hot seat. But yeah, the last time we played them was actually 2019. Cornbread got him a win. Probably his biggest win of his career, 30-7. But before that, we actually had to beat him in double overtime under Dooley. Double overtime.
I mean, you said the magic word. You said Dooley.
Doolander and Pruitt.
Doolander.
Doolander. So basically, at this point, we've got us at Billy. You got us undefeated, sir.
Undefeated so far.
And then me and Swan here have us at 3-1. Next up.
It's a chance for a frisky game. And let me interrupt just real quick. I've been reading this book called Decade of Dysfunction. That chronicles the 10 years between Fulmer's firing and Chiano Sunday, pretty much. Nagy wrote it, and there's some interesting stuff in there. Things about that era that I didn't know happened. And I think I just finished up the Dooley era, and there was a lot of cool stuff in there. Well, not cool stuff I was not privy to before.
You're gonna have to let me borrow that. I want to read that.
Oh well, when I'm finished with it, I'll get it to you.
Yeah,
anyway.
Absolutely. You good. So next up, we got to take a trip down to Starkville. We need more cowbell because we're gonna hear them down there. I'm gonna go ahead and call that one a win. They're just not. Mississippi State's just not what they used to be. They're not as good as they used to be back in the day. Like, I think, Billy, when you played, that was when they were really starting to get going. And then, they had Dak, they had Dan Mullen for a little while. They had their little run, and now they're just nothing. Awful.
I think what's hurting them is similar to what's hurting Auburn. They have a coach up the road that's taking all the kids now. So any kid that's good in Mississippi, they will be going to Ole Miss.
They'll be going to play for Lane.
Especially where the money is coming in at.
Well, yeah, that and especially when you're going to go somewhere you're going to get developed, because Lane knows how to develop kids. So yeah, that makes absolute sense. Absolute sense.
I mean, and it's a tough situation, man. Especially, any SEC school right now. You're talking about the way the transfer portal has changed the whole dynamics of college football. This is a true real life free agent situation. This is better than the NFL free agent pool.
Absolutely. It's like whenever, especially when you've got a bigger name hitting the portal, and as soon as they hit that portal and you see that do not contact tag, the deal's already done. It's just not a matter of where they're going, but when they're going.
Nico.
That's true. That is true. All right, boys. So we're going to chalk up. Billy, you got us 5-0, ironclad. Swan, you and I got us 4-1.
Yep.
Sound right?
I also want to say I was dead ass wrong about UAB being good. They won 3 games last year.
That's good for
I don't know where I've gotten that information. Honestly, with all the hours I put in college football 25, maybe they got good on there or something, and I was like, oh, UAB must have some players.
Well, no, they're for a little while. Like that's why they're pissed, because as a program, before they hired Trent Dilfer, they were actually pretty good. Like had making bowl games, and revenue was coming in, and this, that, and the other. And now they're just like, this guy sucks. Like, oh,
imagine that.
No, right? Who'd have thunk it? All right, boys.
UAB bad. I'm sure by the time this goes on YouTube, by the time they get to this part of the show, their fucking comment about me being an idiot will already be posted, which I deserve that.
No,
4-1, baby. Let's go.
4-1, 4-1, 5-0. Hey, I hope we're 5-0 for what it's worth, because if we can beat Georgia early in the year, that's a big win. Next up's that pesky bye team. Beat them by 50. Then possibly a revenge game. Arkansas comes to Neyland.
Yeah, we're beating them.
I hope so. I mean,
we got to. We have no choice. We have to revenge from that. I don't care if we have to create a rivalry out of the situation. We have to be. We got to get our home games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the road is going to be tough once we get in this second half of the situation.
Yeah. Our schedule is definitely. It's not front loaded. It is back loaded, because of course we do it every year. We talk about it every year. Starting about October, that's whenever shit gets a little real for us, So, and by that time of the year, they come in that same time of the year too, where they, usually Arkansas kind of starts off hot, and then they lose a couple that they shouldn't, and then they're talking about Sam Pittman being on the hot seat. We don't need to be the win that keeps his job this year, because that's what we were last year.
Yeah, and you're right about that. Him beating us saved his job. You're right about that.
That it sure did, because he didn't beat anybody else that mattered. This year, put him on the hot seat, and and keep him there. That's what we got to do. So I don't have a spread on that one, but I'm calling a win. I think we it kind of could be like, you guys remember that Texas A&M game in 23, where it was Texas A&M was good enough to hang with us, though. I don't know that Arkansas's got a lot of talent on offense, though, so that game kind of scares me again. But I feel a lot better with it being in Neyland. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it's going to be a 3 to 7 point game.
It'll be a tough one for sure, but we have to win, right?
Yeah, have to. You got to get that one. Got to get that one. Next up, my favorite game of the year. We got to go down to Tuscaloosa. I do have a spread on that one, and it is 11.5.
That sounds much more like it. Now, that's going to be the first one I personally think we will lose. It's a revenge situation. We swapping home and home losses, so they refuse to lose at home. And I think it continues that way. And, this is going to be a big setup where, Georgia, they're going to end up probably beating Alabama when they go play them after we don't beat Georgia. And, we're going to have a situation where we have 3 top teams, where you got Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama with 1 loss. And I think Alabama will probably give us our first loss.
Okay. Swan, I've seen you hold it up already.
Yeah, it's a loss.
And I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even think it's going to be close. Just by hearing what you just told me the spread is, that's probably going to be one of those 21 pointers where they start and finish us, and I can just see them trying to embarrass us.
They'll try, but I'm not picking that one as a loss. I'll never pick that one as a loss. No, ain't happening. But that's going to be a tough game. I mean, it's hard to go down there and win. But the last time we went down there, didn't have as much talent around the quarterback, and we should have won that game.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I am not impressed with Kalen DeBoer. I'm not.
We should have won 2 years ago, yes.
I am not impressed with Kalen DeBoer, and I'm sorry, Nick Saban's not walking through the damn door anytime soon down there.
Well, I think he does, doesn't he? Doesn't he walk through the door still there?
Not the locker room door, though.
I thought he was. I'm making shit up.
No, he's down there. I think he's got an office down there. Where he probably keeps his oatmeal cream pie stash down there somewhere. That's the only reason. But I don't know.
All over the facility like a break open in case of emergency oatmeal cream pie.
Has them stashed in section 104,
Taped under the seats.
like Colombian Bam Bam. Just, I don't know. Like, of course, now Alabama will, and when we do the breakdown of the game and stuff, he did get his offensive coordinator back. He got Ryan Grubb back from when he was at Washington. That'll make a difference, I think. I don't know, man. I'm not impressed with Kalen DeBoer. He had all the talent last year. I'm sorry, he had better talent last year than he does this year, I think. And you just can't. But
he's got a better quarterback this year. Wait, who's their quarterback?
Where I was going.
It doesn't matter. He's got a better quarterback this year.
Like he's got a better quarterback this year, and that's all he was really missing offensively.
Is it Ty Simpson?
I think so. Last I heard, it was Ty Simpson. They're talking about another kid. I can't remember his name to save my life, but they're
surely
talking
they're
about
better
another
than
kid.
Milroe.
And
Milroe's the reason we won last year.
Milroe and a good defense. I would agree. I would say so. I mean, it's because Nico didn't do much. Good defense and a good run game. That's the common theme from last year. And also I want to say this too, going back to the Georgia game. I know Swan, I know you and I picked it as a loss, but that game was competitive last year in Athens until the fourth quarter. I mean, they beat us by 14 and they tacked a late one on. I don't know. I'm not going to talk myself out of picking that loss, but I think we've kind of, to Billy's point, transfer portals closed the gap a lot everywhere, and I don't think they're near as talented and experienced as they were. Oh, I don't know. We'll talk about that some more when we finally talk about the game itself. But I'm not picking that Alabama game as a loss. I'm not. I just can't bring myself to do it. But I could definitely see it happening too. It's hard. We hadn't won down there since 2001.
Jesus Christ.
And I think the difference this year with Coach DeBoer is the fact that, he has a lot more to help his offense now. Getting this guy back, he's getting the kids that he wants to put in the positions the way he wants to. It's not a situation where he's coming in and he got seniors that he can't piss off. He got to play these guys because they are the starters. They have to play. And, trying to change everything, that could have been a disaster for Alabama. And I think this year now he has a little bit more, I call it control, say how he wants to. He's building the program the way he wants to. It's not, picky coating off of Coach Saban's players now. So now he has to change the whole dynamics and create his philosophy the way he wants to. And I think it's going to be a tough situation because, his offenses are used to doing what we did in 22. Used to flying around fast pace, quick out, making the plays happen. And he used to have great receivers.
Yeah.
And now he has great receivers now.
Right.
He had them last year, but I think this year is going to be a big difference with that offense, knowing that he has an offensive coordinator that can change the game for him.
True that. I would agree with you on that. He's got one of the best wide receivers in the country with Ryan Williams. So as long as he's got somebody that can get him the ball, there you go. And
he's only 17 years old.
First 17-year-old to ever lose in Neyland. And I'm going to backtrack on that 01 game. It wasn't 01, it was 03. That was the last time we won.
Like it, but still.
And it was a crazy game. All right, either way, a couple of years don't matter. It was that crazy overtime game where it was like 4th and 19 and Clausen throws a dart to, I think, Chris Hannon in like the 4th overtime. It was 53-49 or something like that. Yeah. It was crazy.
Can I say something about the whole age thing? Like,
Absolutely.
I don't like to brag about that, but I was 17 first time I lost to Neyland. But I don't like to call losses like that.
Well, we'll just act like it didn't happen, Billy. You're wild, man. All right, boys. Next up, got to go to the Bluegrass State, Kentucky.
W.
Win. Same train. We keep it rolling. We start the streak back of 1 in a row.
Getting her done. Next up, Oklahoma comes to Neyland. That's a tough one. I think it'll be tough. It's going to be tough.
That's going to be a tough one, man. I say Oklahoma is going to be much more better than we've seen in the past. This is a situation where they're SEC now, so the kids are going to Oklahoma too. The transfer portal is going to Oklahoma. I'm gonna call it a win for us though, man. I mean, it's at home. We got to get the home wins. I don't care if it's by 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. We got to find a way to win that ball game.
Swan, what you got?
I think we're winning that one. Oklahoma's another team. I don't know anything about them except for their coach, and he's not been. I know he's not lived up to the. Wait, is Venables still there?
He's still there.
Okay,
Barely. He's still there.
and he's not lived up to that standard of of Oklahoma football, what they should be. Yeah, it's I don't know what they've done in the portal. But I know that they've not been Oklahoma for a few years since Lincoln Riley left. So I think
they're just not. I would think so too. You know, last year we when we done our Oklahoma preview, we fired a bunch of them up, and they got on there all talking. Oh well, you're coming to the Palace. Yeah, well, we took the Palace down, buddy. Vols
did come in and make that. They did come in and make that game competitive last year. So I really don't know how to gauge this one. I'm going to pick it as a win just based on what I know about Venables, what he's done at Oklahoma with all those resources, and factoring in that the game is in Neyland. I'm calling it.
Well, you know, last year towards the end of the year, they did get an upset win over Auburn, and I'm calling it an upset because Oklahoma. I mean, but the thing about that Oklahoma game last year, to their credit, they played us pretty tight for the most part. We hit a couple big plays in that game, and that's what gave us the lead. They also kind of laid the blueprint out for everybody to really slow us down with that 3-3-5 defense. Hype has got to come up with something to take the top off that 3-3-5 because it's designed to keep everything in front of you, and about the only way you can beat it is blown coverage or something, you know, inside up the middle, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. They done good keeping it close, and they were pretty banged up just about all year last year. So I would imagine they stay healthy.
And they helped us make the playoff last year by beating Bama. So shout out Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
All the props to Oklahoma.
Absolutely. You know, out that time Alabama flew out there just to kick a field goal for 3. Yeah, you know, that was pretty serious.
That was awesome.
It was. Next up, first time in program history, New Mexico State. I think we know how that one's going to. Win times 3. Now,
I don't know.
Last 2 games of the year, we got to go to the Swamp. This is the one. This I'm going to go ahead. I'm putting it in the Georgia category. Until they show me they can do it, they have to go do it. And I'm picking that one as an L right now.
Yeah. In the Swamp, it's an L.
I mean, I hate to, but it's just hard to do it otherwise, man. Haven't won down there since 2000.
It's going to be a tough game. I mean, you know, it's Florida still got a lot of good players, man. I mean, you know, they lost a lot, but I mean, the money that they're spending on kids right now, Florida, we can't say they're not going to be good, man, because right now there's a lot of unknowns right now, and you know, it's I can't wait to do the piece on each team by team because, gosh, I can't wait to hear who they have versus what they lost because Florida had a lot of kids on that team that was pretty good, man. And I blame coaching for a whole lot of it though, man, because that's a lot of talent that was on that team, man.
They kept a lot of it too.
One of the 10 names in college football that I know, DJ Lagway, he's a stud.
Yeah. That's the important one that they kept. And, you know, I'll say this: Billy Napier is recruiting well down there. I mean, he does well recruiting. That's important still, even though we've got the portal.
I mean,
that's still important.
It's Florida, man. I mean, it's easy to recruit in the state of Florida. You know, when you're giving a kid a scholarship from Florida, most of those cities down there, these kids are coming from nothing, and they get to stay home when they know the tradition of Florida. And when you have a coach that recruiting in his situation, the things that he can say to the kids is easy for them to come there. Like, hey, you know, we're losing right now, but imagine if we had you.
Right. That's true.
So
That's
it's
true.
going to be a tough game. I don't think it's going to be even if we haven't lost but one game, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, or I think it's going to be one of those close games again.
That's one of those dangerous games where if we're, and say we're at that time of the year and Florida's just not very good record-wise, and we've only got 1 loss, that game could knock us out of the playoffs.
I think I'm going to tell you what I'm going to compare that to what you guys did to me last year, and I'm going to go with it. I'm not going to say we're going to lose this game. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be similar to what you guys said about Arkansas last year.
It's scary, man. I mean, I hate to say it, but it is.
To me, it's an L. Like Jordan was saying, until we do it. until
Now, you get me talking during the season. You let me know what we've got, halfway through the season after we say, let's see how we look against Georgia and, some of these other teams. I might change my mind, but, just they got to show me they can do it. I want them to do it. Lord knows I want them to do it, but they got to show me they can do it. Billy, which way are you leaning on this one way or the other, buddy? Win, loss?
I mean, I think we'll win. It's
Okay.
going to be a tough one. I can see it being more like a end of the game type field goal situation or overtime game.
That was an overtime game last year, so that's a safe bet. Yeah, I mean, I like I say, we can revisit this again during the season too, and I might have a different idea of how I think it's going to go. But right now, they have to show me. They got to show me they can do it, and I think they can. Most importantly, Heupel has to show me he can do it. He has to show me he can win on the road. All right,
God,
boys.
we've
Last
been
game,
saying that for
yeah,
we've said it every year.
and he'll get that one. He gets that one game that we're like, all right, that was big, that was important, and then he'll drop one he shouldn't, and we're just like, well, we're back to square one. I mean, it's hard to win on the road in the SEC anyway, but when you've got the better team, and you should win. And it just seems like, especially in that game, the weirdest things happen. Just what was it that happened in 23 when we were down there? That was just weird, and you're like, what the hell?
I remember the five. It just seems like out, but I don't remember the game. I don't. If the standard is elite, then it doesn't matter where you go in the SEC. You should, unless you're going against another elite team. Like you don't see Georgia losing on the road at Arkansas or Bama Bama's in a new era now. But the Bama that I'm talking, the Saban Bama.
Right. No, I agree with that.
You know what I mean.
Speaking
Urban
of the
Florida
standard,
wasn't going on the road and losing.
That's true. Speaking of the standard, Vandy comes to Knoxville, and I know you guys seen Diego Pavia and what he was saying. We're about to run Tennessee and this, that, and the other. Buddy, your ass about to get run back to Nashville with a loss.
Yeah, I admire the confidence.
I mean, I can see it being a good close game, but the amount of bulletin board material that they have given the Vols, I almost have to say that it's going to be one of those where they wish they wouldn't have said the things that they said in the papers. And I can't say that, Vandy is not going to be this or that because, they got something that, you want in football, confidence, and that's something that you're not used to hearing from a Vanderbilt team.
Right. That's true.
That's I call it the Rudy syndrome. They refuse to lose to anybody they play.
Well,
so I still think we'll win. But it's going to be one of those competitive games, and almost to a situation where we either win this game to make the playoffs, or they make us look bad.
I just don't see a world where Josh Heupel is the coach here and they beat us or even make it close. That's one thing I will say Kentucky has given us better games than Vanderbilt has under Heupel. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I still can't take Vanderbilt football seriously. Like they had one good year and now they're like, oh man, we're about to run the state of Tennessee. No, you're not. So
if they want to do that, it's gonna take years of work. They can't do it in 2 seasons. Even if they luck up and beat us this year, they don't run Tennessee.
No. All right, boys. So Billy, I think that's got me. You and I have us at 10-2. Swan's got us at 9-3. I think that sounds accurate.
Yeah, I'm naturally the most negative one here, and I think there's of those 9 wins, there's a team in there that'll beat us.
Yeah. I mean, 8-4, 9-3 right now is a strong pick. I would have us 9-3 if I picked the Bama game as a loss. I just can't bring myself to do it.
It's either going to be a 9 or 10 wins. Anything less than that, man, that's automatically hot seat talk there. Automatic. Like that's just how it is. That's the way it is now.
That's true though.
The SEC, it's going to be cutthroat. Like
that's true.
Yeah, but it's not. Is it that way at Tennessee? Are we going to put a coach on a hot seat for 9 wins?
Do you hear yourself?
Do you hear your friend?
How long have you been a fan?
I think so.
Yes. He will go there. I'm just kidding.
I've been a fan for the last 20 years at least, where I would have.
How many did Coach Foreman lose?
Things for a 9
How many did Coach Foreman lose and they got rid of him?
7. But we were at that standard at that time. That's been almost 20 years ago. We've been a lot worse.
This is the era of the new transfer portal. It don't matter with coaches, players. These ADs gonna fit the system for the fans now.
The thing about this AD though, and I'll say it, White's not going to put him on the hot seat. Danny White is not going to put Heupel on the hot seat with anything less than a 6-6 season. I'm sorry, he won't. I don't think he will. I don't think he will. I get what you're saying. And I know some fans, I mean, I was interacting with one over the weekend that, thinks Heupel is absolute garbage. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Come on, man.
I don't know, but no, he's good. He's a good coach. I don't know if, once we get that standard back to, hey, we want to compete for a national championship, then I think you start talking about a hot seat with him. I don't know if he's that guy. He's a good coach. He's pulled us out of the pit of despair, which is why I don't think that a 9-win season is gonna put his ass on Indeed.
On Indeed. I think his seat gets warm with 9-3. I'm not gonna say it's not.
Well,
but
I'm gonna tell you this here, just because being behind the scenes, being an ex-player, being a fan right now, brother. We lose 3 games, and let's just say it's a situation where win-loss to make the playoffs, and we lose and don't make the playoffs. Hot seat is going to be like a knife cutting through butter.
And the
reason why I say that is because now is the time where we're expecting hype to make it all the way now, because guess what? Every kid on the team is his now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was gonna touch on that before we got to the end of the show tonight. Now, what you were saying, yeah, that loss that kicks us out of the playoffs is going to hurt. But if we're 1 game shy of another playoff berth with everything we've lost from last season, are we really that upset?
No,
I'm not how far the gap was between a national championship team and us in Columbus, Ohio. We saw how wide that gap is. If we miss the playoffs by 1 game this year, I think that's a win for us. I think that's a good season. Now you're talking. So if 1 loss is keeping us out of the playoff, if we miss it by 1 game that we drop at the end of the year, you're talking either Vanderbilt or Florida, right?
Yeah.
So let's take
Oklahoma.
If we've got 2 Oklahoma is before them.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say we've got 2 losses going into Florida. We're a playoff team. Florida beats us. They kick us out. Then how we feel about the season depends on what happens against Vanderbilt. To me, if you lose to Vanderbilt, then I'll turn the seat warmers on.
So,
but if you lose to, who are my 3 losses this year, Jordan? Bama, Bama, Florida.
Yep.
If we go 9-3 with those 3 teams on our win loss or in our L column, I'm not. That's where we are. We should be better than Florida, but I don't know that that's true. And we play in the swamp.
All right.
Here,
so,
and here, I'm gonna throw a hypothetical situation out there.
Okay.
Go for it.
So you know how it was always the John Gruden name that was thrown out there all the time. So what if there's all of a sudden somebody unretires by the name of?
It's not gonna. That's never gonna happen. It's just not.
Imagine though, like just think of that. If Danny White knows that somebody will come out of retirement and come back and take the position, what does he do?
He's been very flirtatious with our fan base over the past since he's been working at Barstool. He won't stop talking about University of Tennessee. John Gruden. I don't know if you guys have paid attention, but he loves talking about us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know he's not going anywhere anytime soon, especially with this Adidas deal that's getting ready to go down next year. So I just don't see that happening right now. I don't think they want that kind of turmoil right now. Like I think they want it to be a kosher situation. They don't want it to be any negative stuff when that deal pops off.
Right. Okay. So this is one thing I wanted to bring up. Swan, I know you got some stuff on the Nike Adidas thing. So here's 3 things, and out of these 3 things, I guess we'll say start, bench, cut on it. One of these 3 feats this year, Heupel needs to accomplish. First win versus Georgia since 2016. First road win at Bama since 2003. He is 0-2 on the road against Alabama. First road win versus Florida since 2003. 2 against Florida. Start, bench, cut, boys. Which is it going to be?
Gosh.
Start, bench, cut. Which one's like most important?
Which one's most important, or like
one on the back burner, and then the other one doesn't matter. That one's tough. But I think start is that win in the swamp. And not that that's a bigger game if, like we were just saying a second ago, if the other two are already losses and we win in the swamp, we're a playoff team. So I would say that one's a start. Bench at home, I'd like to beat them at home and then cut Bama on the road because I don't see a way that we're doing that this year.
I'm going to have to go. We got to start with the Georgia game, man. Being that it's first, so we got to get that bench. It's in order right now with the season. I mean, so you made this kind of easy for me in a sense. I'm a bench Bama game because it's just what it is. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, like I kind of want to do what Swanny said right there, cut that, but I must change it up and switch, and I'm just gonna have to cut the Florida game because I mean, Florida. Why do you give us these three, man?
Yeah, it's tough. They're all things we haven't done in a while.
Yeah, this may be the toughest start cut bench ever. We got to come back to this one during the season. We're going to come back to this one. Gosh, this is a tough one.
It is, man. It is. So you're Billy. You're kind of just going in order of the season.
Exactly.
Start Georgia, bench Bama, cut Florida.
Yes.
At this point, I realize that I'm gonna start Bama game because I think that's a program that has been so dominant since 07. And we need to get that game. That to me, they're a bigger rivalry game than Georgia to me.
Not anymore, I don't think, man. Just because of the fact Saban ain't there. Like, we beat Bama, nobody even cares in a sense, but us. Their fans are all like, well, if we had a coach.
Right. Yeah, and if I had balls, should be my uncle.
Nobody makes excuses like Alabama fans.
That's true.
They are world-class excuse makers.
That's how they are, man. They will come up with anything. Well, Tennessee had 3-inch cleats.
Or the refs helped y'all. Yeah, no. But I'm gonna start that game. I'm gonna bench the Georgia game, or no, I'm gonna bench the Florida game. I'm gonna cut the Georgia game. I want to get those. I want to go on the road. I want Hype to have a better road win because I think at this point right now his best road wins are at LSU and at Oklahoma through his time here. I think those are probably his best road wins. I want to see those two road wins. I can deal with getting beat at home. It sucks. It sucks a fat one, but I would rather I would take that one on the chin because but see, that game's early enough to where we can recover from it. Those two games right there, they're going to start looking at if we're in playoff contention, they're going to start looking and say, okay, well, since October, they've lost at Alabama, at Florida, maybe even Oklahoma. Though that carries weight, and I think we need to get those two road games. Wins on the road, even if they're not great wins on the road, help. And those two, I will take those and take one on the chin for the Georgia game. I mean, I don't want to, but from that perspective, I think I'm going start Bama, cut bench Florida, cut Georgia. I'll take a loss to Georgia because chances are, if at that point you're more than likely, if you're going 10-2, you're more than likely making the playoffs in the top 12. If you go 9-3, you're more than likely not. You're going to be right there. You're going to be on the back end of it. Some stuff is going to have to happen. You're going to have some help. So I think you got to get the two road games. I think I want, but he has to accomplish just one. And I think we've all got our one. Like
I think we all picked a different one too, didn't we? We
did. Like you have, and period. If he gets one of these done this year, I'll be happy. But I want to see the win. I don't want to go back to losing those 3 games every year. I don't think we are. I don't think we're anywhere near that atmosphere, but I don't want to go back to doing that. You know what I mean?
As long as we beat the other ones, the Vanderbilts, Kentuckys, and South Carolinas. I miss South Carolina, man. I miss when they were on our schedule. They probably would have beat us last year.
That they were tough. That's one that
they'll probably beat us this year.
They'd be my dark horse. Okay, I'm not even going to go with those. Best case, worst case scenario, realistic expectations. What's the best case scenario for you guys? 11-1, 10-2.
I think the best. Is my picks. 10 wins again, and hopefully we get lucky with that to make the playoffs because that ain't guaranteed to make the playoffs now. I mean, because you think about it, if the scenario goes the way that you guys are thinking, and let's just say, Bama, Georgia beat each other or whatever, they're one-loss teams. They would put both of those guys in.
And we're not factoring in
Even,
Texas either.
even, you know what I'm saying? Like, just think of like last year. Who was it? I mean, was it who made it that
Or
shouldn't have
A&M,
been?
who should be better than they were last year. And they won 9
When
games.
because they left who out? Georgia out last year?
No, they left Ole Miss, Bama, South Carolina, and A&M all missed out.
Because I remember when somebody got in that shouldn't have got in. Like, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, because they've got some dumbass rules. SMU got in, Indiana got in, Boise State got in. None of those teams belong.
And I think this year it's going to be different too because they're going to straight seeding.
Yeah, they reseeded it this year.
Straight seeding.
That's what it should have
Great,
been.
a year after we made it.
Yeah.
We would have played SMU, I think, if they had done it the new way they're doing it. If they had done it in 2024, we would have played SMU, I believe I saw, and Knoxville.
I mean, they gotta fix it though, man. Like, I get it when they start talking about strength of schedule or anything like that, but come on, man. These kids that play their butts off to make it to that game, they go and defeat it, and they don't get a chance. And I always go back to the Florida State situation. Like, I get it, but who knows what Florida State would have done if they was in it?
Here's how you make the playoff awesome. Is you get rid of this committee and you just you guys remember the BCS when the computers just picked?
Yeah.
You let the computers rank it. Top 12 get in.
Looking back at it, that was they got it. They got it right more times than not.
Well, Clemson didn't really belong in that tournament either, but they won the ACC over SMU. They got 2 teams in. And neither one of them
they're talking expanding it to 16 teams.
Who are they
not this year?
They gonna add?
That's too many, man. That's too many.
At a certain point, you have to draw the line and be like, no, look, because if you go to 16 teams at that point, if you're one of these teams that are 13, 14, 15, 16, and you're going up to Ohio State and getting your ass whooped, it's like you're getting a participation trophy. And it's like you're the skinniest kid at fat camp.
Well, I mean, they do 16 on the FCS level. I don't see why they couldn't do 16.
They need to go back to how it used to be, in a sense, AP poll. Top 4, or however they want to do it, and go with it. And stop doing all this, just like you said, participation trophies. Stop having 1,000 bowl games. Stop having the toilet bowl, the ACL bowl, the broke neck bowl,
the Pack-a Bowl. Just whatever.
It's too much. Like, that's why the kids don't play in it, don't want to play, because there's nothing that makes them want to play in these games. Like, it's nothing special about that particular bowl, Like, back then, you had Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Rose Bowl. That right there, those were the gold standard bowls.
Right.
That's
BCS
all
bowls.
it should be. It should be just those 4 bowls. Whoever is invited to those bowls should probably be the teams that's in the playoffs.
I'd agree. That would be nice.
The old school BCS games.
But then you put the winners, Jordan, into a 4-team.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. So basically, you're saying it's 8 teams.
Yes, 8 teams. I mean,
that's the perfect amount. I mean, it really is.
But see, I would do you one. I would like to see them do 16. And then you have these 2 winners go to the Rose Bowl. These 2 go to the Orange Bowl. These 2 go to the Sugar. I'm never going to turn my nose up at more playoff football.
I mean,
I think you get to a point where like any more than 16 is too much.
I do. 16 is 16 is where
is the max you could do. And
yes,
it would be no different than how they're doing it now. Just 4 teams don't get a bye.
Right.
So this is the thing here. I don't think it should be a bye for nobody.
Yeah, I agree.
And the reason I say that, in a sense, is because, this is football. There's more games being played by a team, and there's a team that got a rest game waiting to get the cupcake, whoever coming to play them or whatever, and they're well rested. You're talking about a blowout every single time, and that's why that's why if they go more than 18, it's going to be a hot mess, because you're going to have a lot of injuries. Now you're going to be talking about, what if Chris Winkie would have played? What if this here? What if that, like this here? And then you got all that stuff. Like, I don't like that. Get it done now. Stop waiting. Injuries in football is crazy when you're playing that many games.
And it's crazy too whenever they factor it into who makes playoffs, like Florida State that year.
Oh God, they did Florida State wrong. I say that every single time.
It's something.
They say, well,
I disagree, but a computer would have put them in.
Well,
and
I'm
that's
just
what I
thinking about
advocate
it.
for.
The thing is, like, we don't know what Florida State team would have showed up to play that playoff game. But I knew what Florida State team was going to show up to play that other team. But they didn't make that game. I knew that.
Georgia
They
did
didn't care
too.
about that game because it's not the championship.
Right. So, all right, boys, we've talked for hour 13 minutes on this. So I knew this was going to be a good one, but it's been informative. I like it. It's been good conversation. So
We'll say
close out.
I will say before we go, something Billy said earlier. This is year 5 for Hop. It's all his guys. This is the year where your opinions of him as a coach are confirmed or otherwise. Like whatever happens this year, it's in cement. If he doesn't get a big road win, he can't win on the road. Things like that.
That's true. That's true.
It's
and
just,
also
those are going to be the rules now that we have to judge by.
That's true. That's true. And last but not least, we mentioned it earlier, possibility of the Vols going back to Adidas from Nike.
Mistake.
Billy, what are you thinking?
I mean, I would rather stay with Nike because, that's the kids. They love the Nike, man. I mean, nobody knows Adidas. I mean, and I'm going from my experience when we switched to Adidas. I hated it, man. I mean, it was, it ended my career. The first time I actually wore an actual Adidas cleat in a game, I broke my ankle, man. I mean, because, they made it to the point where, because, those shoes was garbage when they gave them to us back then. It was like walking on what I call church shoes, like when you're wearing a suit on flats. It was just that hard. Everybody had blisters. So they had to come in and measure everybody's foot and give them custom made shoes. I mean, I had to wear a white pair of shoes and practice every day for Adidas to say, oh, okay, he's wearing the shoe. But when it was game time, I'm spraying those Nikes and putting those 3 little things on the side of it, and I'm rocking them. But when they found out that we were doing that, and they made us change and do Adidas, and that's when I broke my ankle, and pissed me off. But it is what it is. I mean, the money that the school is going to get, it's going to be a big deal because I'm going to say, I mean, especially with, NIL changing, that's going to be a big situation when it comes to the money to be able to take care of those kids to get the big time recruits to come in.
The money, I think, is what.
So I'm with changing because I'm trying to build the brand. I'm trying to get us back to where we're a dominant force every single year.
Well, and with the deal that's coming, it's like they're making promises of, Tennessee's going to be the face of the brand and this, that, and the other. And when you've got that kind of money being tossed around, there you go. I think
buy that face of the brand shit for 1 second.
But you know how they do it. That's how they say it.
That's how they're going to get us to sign with them.
So halfway through the season, when they see how Tennessee, the actual, the outfits, everything looking good, the cleats and everything, they got the right colors, the different uniforms, and the next thing you know, they turn it into like how with Nike did with Oregon and everything. Everybody got it now.
If we were a soccer school, if we were talking about soccer, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's go with Adidas. But Adidas.
I know you've got some stuff.
Adidas is a good brand. I like Adidas shoes. I like their socks. I like Adidas. They got some cool stuff, especially when they break out that one logo from like the retro one. They got some cool stuff. It pales in comparison to Nike. We're talking about the brand that Michael Jordan wore, Tiger Woods, LeBron, Kobe. All these guys wear and the kids want to wear Nike. It's very obvious. Now it's been a couple months since this made the rounds on Twitter, and I knew all this stuff that I'm about to spout off the top of my head. Let's see if I can do it here. I looked back to 2014, which would have been the first season of the college football playoff. Only only 3 times did a school that did not wear Nike had a top 5 recruit class. 3 out of 5 teams a year for 10 years, 11 years. 3 times. That was A&M twice, I think, and Miami once. I don't think we have the same recruiting power that Miami or A&M have anyway. We're not on a level playing field because it's Miami, Florida, and A&M's an hour away from Houston, Texas. Looking at the other thing, national champions since 98, since the BCS era. Only 2 schools that did not wear Nike won a national title. One of them was us. We were wearing Adidas. I believe I have that right, Billy.
Yeah.
We were wearing Adidas at that time.
98.
We won it. I know we won it in 98, but we didn't wear Nike, and we won it in 98. And then Auburn in 2010. Every other national champion had the check on.
And Auburn was wearing Under Armour, I want to say.
Yeah. Nike equals recruits equals championships. Nike's the brand. I don't care how much money Adidas has got. If it's that much money, obviously we're going to do it, and I'm not going to give a shit. People are like, oh, you're going to wear the Adidas crap anyway. It's like, well, no, because there's better brands for apparel, like 47 I'm a big fan of. But anyway, yeah, Adidas is fine as a fan. It's a good product, but it's not Nike. And we're not thinking of basketball, how this affects basketball. Because there's only one school in basketball that overcomes Adidas, and that's Kansas. You know, where the rules of basketball are on display in the Hall of Fame. We're talking about Kansas.
That's true.
Dr. Naismith, the guy who invented it.
It's yeah. I mean, there's.
We're not thinking about basketball at all. Basketball's taking a bigger hit than football if we switch to Adidas.
That's true. I would agree with that. And I'm going to say this too. I think honestly, I think the administration's smart enough to be like, okay, yeah, let them throw this big number out here, and we'll go back to Nike and see if they want to renegotiate. I think that could be part of what's going on too. I don't know though. I don't know. Nike. It depends on, you know. I mean, the thing about it is with Nike, you're never going to be the face of the brand for Nike because it's at Oregon.
And that's why I'm telling you.
How many national championships Oregon got?
It's going to be a no-brainer. It's going to be hard to turn down that kind of money.
Oregon's the face of Nike. How many championships do they have? Of all those ones that I just listed, out of, what is that, 27 national champions, 25 of them were Nike, 0 of them were the face of Nike.
That's true. That's true. But they get the best of the best.
It doesn't amount to anything ever.
That's true. But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like if you're, you know, we go to Adidas. I mean,
also people are forgetting the Adidas, the gaudy jerseys that Adidas has put out over the years. They look better now. There have been improvements. Like Miami's jerseys look fine. A&M's jerseys look okay. The only thing Adidas can fix with our jerseys is the number font. I hate the number font on the Nike jerseys.
Bring back that black outline too.
Black outline, block numbers. The ones we have now are gross.
Yeah, bring them back. I'm down with that. So
Adidas has put out some ugly stuff. Remember those basketball jerseys, like that Louisville one with the sleeves on them, and you know
they look like soccer jerseys.
They're awful.
Yeah. So we'll have to revisit. We'll have to revisit this another time as well. So
whenever we learn something more official, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, let's do it. So let's end this one. Billy, you and I got to go in 10-2. Swan's got to go in 9-3. Let's end this one with the Go Vols and call it a night on that one. What do you think?
Go Vols.
Go Vols.